give your son or daughter some time and some space too. You know, Doug tells the story of a kid he coached in college basketball over in Bellevue. And after every game, he noticed that there was one particular student athlete, one boy, that was always the last to leave the locker room. Always, after every single game. And finally, one day, after one game, he asked him, you know, why are you always so slow about getting out of the locker room? And he said, because waiting outside the door is my dad. And on the way home, all my dad's going to do is complain at me about how bad I played, and he's going to rehash the game over, okay? And it drives me crazy. And again, that's something I think we all need to think about as adults. Give them some time, give them some space, and as I say on the overhead, save your analysis, all right? Let the coaches work on analyzing the issue. Again, if there's some input you think you can give to the coach, you know, as far as how to improve your son or daughter's play, perfectly legitimate area to get some input on. Number 4, I overheard this at one of our games, I think a year ago. Grandparents. And some of us are getting old enough to be grandparents now. But I heard a set of grandparents talk to one of our girls after a volleyball match, and the quote was, "We love watching you play." Not, we love the win. Not, we love, you know how you did this or did that. We simply loved watching you play, right? You can almost see the girls mimicking, being behind grandma and grandpa. You know? But the bottom line is, that's the positive message you need to send to your kids. Okay? We love watching you play. We enjoy watching you play. Be a confidence builder. You know, try to encourage them, you know, through wins and losses. You know, we're not going to win every state title this year in sport, in every sport. We're going to probably be pretty strong in a couple of sports this year. But the whole idea here is to remember that athletics is just part of the educational process, part of giving them confidence in who they are, what they are, and what kind of adult they're going to be. And think about this thought, you guys. Fast forward to their last game at prep, and some of you have had sons or daughters graduate from this school. Fast forward to their last game this year or next year or 3 years from now, and ask what kind of memories, positive or negative, will your son or daughter have. And remember that you play a critical role as a parent in creating those memories. All right? I can do so much, the coaches can do so much, Mrs. Jones can do so much, Steve Potter can do so much, the faculty can do so much, but you guys play a key role in this. What are they going to remember when they, you know, walk out of the stadium or the dome or whatever, as far as after their last game or match? You know, and how do they? What's their reflection going to be? There's a study out that says for boys, and for the men in the room, think about this. Our #1 memory from high school is an athletic event. For 85% of men, your #1 recollection of high school is an athletic event. The girls aren't quite as high, okay? But I bet you for most of the men in this room, you remember a game or a match or an event, you know, and that's a prime memory of high school. Here are some quotes from an athletic director friend of mine at Seattle Prep, who asked his student athletes at Seattle Prep a couple of years ago to write down things that parents do that their student athletes at Seattle Prep really appreciate. Just take a look at this. Taking time out of your schedules to come to the games. Okay? Be there. Okay? That's what the students appreciate. Bringing snacks, that's a given. Notice supporting the whole team, not just me. Support the whole team. Cheer the team even when we're losing. Tell us we did a good job. Be proud of us. Be quiet unless cheering with somebody else. There's always that one parent that seems to cheer in the wrong times or when everybody else is quiet. Don't yell at the officials. Make friends with the parents. telling a negative parent to be quiet. I mean, those are things from the kids at Seattle Prep, as far as what they appreciated their parents doing. So with regards to your student athletes, I hope those are some good ideas that you can incorporate. Now I want to touch on two other very quick topics that are very current that parents in particular and even the students that are wandering in need to be cognizant of. So I'm switching gears now. I'm not lecturing at you. Okay. Catastrophic injuries. Okay. This year, the Leistig law went into effect. Matter of fact, it went into effect 16 days ago. All right. The Leistig law in the state of Washington resulted from a football injury where a young man on the west side of the state had a concussion, was sent back into the game, got a second hit and concussion, and is paralyzed as a result. All right. Our legislature has said now, and this is directed to the coaches, but we need to have input from parents, that any student athlete who's suspected of sustaining a concussion or head injury shall be removed from the competition at the time. And I have in your packets that your students picked up a list of criteria to look out for concussions. And if your son or daughter has had a concussion, please let me or the coach know. All right? So we can kind of keep a heads up on that. Okay? And again, the student may not return to play until the athlete is evaluated by a licensed healthcare provider, trained in the evaluation and management of concussions, and received written clearance. So the bottom line is, for the parents that have football players, if there's a concussion or a suspected concussion, your son comes out, we observe him. If there's any issue of the severity of the injury, you see what happens with concussions, you guys, is that oftentimes the result doesn't impact the student or the individual until 30 to 45 minutes later. You know, the actress that died, Natasha Richardson, she ran in, she had a skiing fall, hit her head. 45 minutes later, she was dead. Okay? Everybody thought she was okay. That's one of the issues you have to be concerned about with concussions. So again, they come out and they stay out, and they don't come back until there's written authorization from a medical doctor. Okay? We're going to be real sticklers on that, because here's the other issue, just to let you know legally. The problem is that the school is immune from lawsuit in these cases, but guess who isn't? The coach. The coach and the athletic director could be named in a lawsuit on this kind of stuff if someone is injured. So again, I want to ask your cooperation, on this particular issue, and like I said, convey that information to us. So be very aware of the focus now on catastrophic injuries. Football has the number one number of injuries. Who wants to take a wild guess at what the second sport is? Soccer. Soccer. Boys soccer has the second number of catastrophic injuries. What other kind of sub-issues, again, relationships between parents and coaches. In the interscholastic athletic handbook that you all have, again, if there is an issue, with a coach about whatever, make an appointment to talk to the coach. Call the coach up. You'll have their phone numbers and sit down and chat with them. Never after a game. That's not an appropriate time. Too many emotions going on, too many other things going on. Call and make an appointment. If you're unable to do that, then you call me, and I'll set up a meeting. Okay? And we have a step process that's laid out in the manual. Again, I think the issue here is communication, and make sure that you follow the procedures, and I think we'll be fine in that regard. So, what's our hope for parents? I'm glad the students are in here now because they can see that Mr. Whitlow has been talking to their parents about things, and that I do have hope for your mom and dad. I know you may have given up on that, but as teenagers, but